This video's about why I stopped thinking about my art in a digital context. Hey netizens, I'm Sophia and I make paintings for you. I've got a problem with how we consume art these days. And I'm talking about the actual viewing experience when you're consuming art on the social internet. Don't get me wrong, I love that we can all just share our work and see a million pieces of art a second. However, the entire experience of social media is kind of counter to how I enjoy my own artwork. And that's kind of how I started to notice this in the first place. Because when I'm working on a piece, I can really take it in. I'm not going to get into the whole nature of social media and just being fast consumption. Instead, I want to look at the fact that we're viewing artwork on just such a small screen and how that really affects our perception of the artwork. Now on my phone, I can kind of see details if I pinch and look into it. But even then, you're kind of capped by the resolution of the image. So you're really only getting a thumbnail of the image that you're looking at. Now sometimes an artist will include extra slides that have detail shots. And if you ever see these, really look at them and look at the size of the brush strokes in their detail shots. And then go back and look at the whole image again and really start to fathom the scale of this drawing. Because I think that's what it is. If I'm viewing my painting at 100% on my monitor, I'm kind of standing a little bit away from it, and if I need to see details, I'll just get closer. And the thing that reminds me of is the advantage that traditional art always has had, and that's just the optimal viewing distance from a piece of artwork. The normal advice is to hang things at eye level, and of course ideally they're well lit, and the viewer gets to really interact with and examine the piece, you know? And on top of that, they don't have to switch back and forth between a low-res version and a high-res version and try to compare the two and make mental notes. They can just go closer and see what they need to see and then back up. Experiencing the painting is just an entirely different phenomena. And it was as I was thinking about that I really started to understand that in my own artwork, I really did value the real world experience of my work. Because I love brushwork. I love it so much. One of my favorite art movements from the past is Impressionism. And I love messy, grungy work where shapes are bleeding into each other and things are just kind of chaotic when you're really looking at them, but using that chaos to create cohesive images that humans understand. I get the feeling that my work is gonna keep moving in that direction. At least I'd like it to. I'd love my work to get dirtier. And I think understanding that was important to me for something to A, print well, and B, to be interesting enough to really examine up close. That has really helped to inform my decisions as an artist. And you can see me applying that principle to this piece here, my biplane painting. I actually originally painted this in January of 2021. And honestly, I loved it then. But then towards the end of 2023, I worked on it again. And that was because it just did not pass the test of being a viable piece to decorate your home with. The original work was good enough, small, but when you really start to zoom in and examine the piece, you start to understand oh, some of this doesn't make sense, and there's no cast shadow of the plane onto the ground. It has its problems. However, I love the piece. I love the way that I captured the actual airplane itself. So I preserved the airplane as much as possible. I definitely improved it. I forgot to draw the landing gear on it. When I originally made this, it was very experimental. I didn't have any plans to do anything with it except for learn and experiment with brushes and colors and stuff. This was also when I was really starting to break away from references. So I remember I was like making up the sky and the grass and all of that kind of stuff, and just I used a reference for the plane, but yeah, just a lot of experimentation. And then yeah, I just tightened it up and made it make sense, painting in the clouds so that they like funneled the viewer's eyes back to the plane, putting in that cast shadow, making everything make sense. It was just, yeah, it needs that kind of tune-up to be really at a quality that you'd want to like actually experience in real life. So yeah. If you like this piece, it's available at sophia-aladdin.com. Leave a like if you like the video, and only subscribe if you actually use your subscription feed. Otherwise, may the algorithm bring me back to you.